105. What would you do here?
I got it. First of all, now I'm going, if I went best player available on the first two, I got to go need here.
Mhm.
So and I don't like to be in a need position, but I think the value is at edge rusher. To me, that's where you're going to find guys. Or if you have somebody like that's a real sleeper, player who's a skill position guy. The guy that I think a lot of is the Idaho State wide receiver Tanner Connor, who's 6'3", 235 pounds, and ran in the 4.3s, and really has a lot of athleticism. And he's vaulting from fifth round range into like the late third, maybe early third. That would be intriguing to me if you didn't get a receiver earlier. I think I got to have a defensive back, though, Grant. If I didn't go DB in those first two picks, I got to have a DB. I got to have either another corner who I believe in. If I'm not bringing Verrett back, I got to have a free safety. I got to have a nickel. One of those three needs in the secondary. I like some day 3 strong safeties. So if they felt good about Jimmy Ward at free, then there's some day 3 strong safeties that I think I'd be interested in. But if you're still staring at, you haven't addressed your secondary. To me, secondary then has to vault to the front of the line.
Yeah, you went to wide receiver though. I'm going to wide receiver too. I feel like the Niners, if you really want a legit deep threat who could contribute as a rookie, this is a good spot. And there's a guy from Notre Dame, Kevin Austin Jr.
Yeah,
he ran a 4.43, 6'2", 39-inch vert. He averaged 18 yards a catch. He only really had one season at Notre Dame, but he was a legit deep threat. And if you watch his highlights, like he's not just, I mean, he's winning a lot of contested balls. He gets up, he makes difficult catches down the field. Not a big yak guy, but he's a legit deep threat. And if they don't take this one, I don't know if there's many more left in the draft.
The one thing about the receiver is I just want to make sure that whatever receiver they get can handle Trey Lance's fastball. So I want to watch. I got to see when I'm rolling that film back and forth on these draft eligible receivers, I got to see somebody with well above average hands, because Trey's throwing rockets and some of them are going to have the high speed wobble to them. And you better have premier hands and ball skills, or you're going to struggle with this quarterback. He's not Joe Montana, who's going to throw with a perfect spiral and it's very catchable. The downside of Trey, from what I can tell, is his ball has some snap on his release. He's got some wobble to his spiral, and that puts a premium on receivers that have elite ball skills. So that would be my one concern. You can't get a receiver who's going to really struggle catching his high heat, because it's coming. He's going to throw it high, and it's going to come hard, and it's going to have some wobble to it, and you better be able to pluck it with your hands out of the air.
It's interesting you say that, because there's a receiver on this team who doesn't have the best hands, doesn't have the widest wingspan, tends to drop a few balls. You know what I'm talking about?
Debo.
Yeah. I mean, Debo's a really good fit with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Jimmy throws a really catchable ball. Debo drops a bunch of passes, but he can. I wonder how that's going to go. Debo's just another reason for Kyle Shanahan and Parag Marathe to think twice about giving him $70 million guaranteed.
Yeah, and then at the same time, is there a team out there that's going to give you 5 picks like the Dolphins just gave Kansas City for Tyreek? Typically, I would take a 5-for-1 trade, but I don't know, man. I could come up. I could literally list you 20 wide receivers in the last decade that the 49ers have drafted with high hopes for, and they're all crap. I mean, DeAndre Smelter, come on down.
Oh. Hey, Dante Pettis. Look, for the record, I'm against trading Debo Samuel, but there is like a list of 18 reasons why the Niners would consider it.